And Scott Schrader, Steve Schrader, who looks every bit of 6'8", 6'7" at least. We were told he was 6'5". He goes at least 6'7". Here's the jump. It goes, it's knocked around, still being tipped, and goes thrown back to Gaylord St Mary's. Woodcock with it still in the backcourt. Now Smith across the line, far side to Andrews, looks right inside. Andrews turns, punts it up, around and out. Rebound, Jasinski back up, missed, tipped around, and it comes out to Engadine. Here's a lead pass for Frazier, hits the scorer's table, goes out of bounds. Gaylord St Mary's basketball in the backcourt. Smith will inbound to Woodcock. Leaves it back for Smith. Engadine is in a 1-3-1 zone. Woodcock on the near side goes baseline. Gets it off to Smith. Underneath, tried to hit David. Got around him. Lead pass for Schrader. He goes all the way. Misses the layup. Tipped around, and it comes down to Andrews. Engadine back. Gaylord back the other way. Smith on the near side goes baseline. Pulls out. Way out on top to Andrews in the circle. Far side to Woodcock. He'll take it from 18 and miss it. Rebound to Converse in a crowd. Engadine basketball. Leaves it back for Frazier. He brings it across. No score as of yet. This is the first time Gaylord St Mary's has set up their defense. Looks like a man-to-man. Frazier goes baseline around David. Lays it up. Missed it. Rebound Jasinski. Laid pass for Smith in front court. Goes into the circle. Pulls up and guns from right there. Comes up short. Tipped out long to Woodcock along the baseline, and he lost it out of bounds. 6:56 to go in the first period. No score between Engadine and Gaylord St Mary's. Here's Scott Schrader on the dribble. Hands forecourt to Frazier. Gets a screen. Far side. Puts it up from 18, and it will not drop. Rebound out long to David. Laid pass for Smith in front court. Stops out front. Near side to Andrews. Right back to Smith. Right back to Andrews. Smith again in the circle. Pulls up. Goes around Schrader. Lost it out of bounds. Each team now with a turnover. We've played a minute and a half, and nobody has scored as of yet. Scott Schrader dribbles across a 10-second stripe for Engadine. Hands far side to Converse. He goes baseline on the screen from Schrader. Underneath, throws it up. Hits the side of the backboard, and coming out with it is Andrews. Lead pass for Woodcock. Near side, goes through, hooks it up, missed it. Here's a whistle and a foul call. Let's see what it is. It might be offensive. It is. Offensive foul on Gaylord St Mary's Chuck Woodcock, his first team foul. Engadine coming length of the floor. Scott Schrader on the dribble. Across the center line on Smith. Goes far side. A screen from Converse. Goes baseline. Pulls up. 5-footer. Will not drop. Tipped around. David lost it. Picked up by Converse, and he's in there. That is also on Woodcock, the guard. His second personal. Second team foul. Right now, we will have a Snowbird substitution. Bill Kurt, 6'2" junior, comes in. Woodcock gets the bench with 2 personals. Bill Kurt in the ballgame at a guard. Engadine inbounding in front court. Converse triggers to Scott Schrader on the perimeter near side. He goes out front, cuts back to the near side. Body's going down. Offensive foul, and Schrader goes into Smith. Scott Schrader's first personal foul, first team foul. It's Snowbird ball in the backcourt. We have played all of 2 minutes in this ballgame. Still, we have no score. Smith in the front court for Gaylord St Mary. Stops out front. In the lane, tried to hit Jasinski. It's knocked away, loose on the floor, and picked up by Jasinski. Goes to the free throw line and bombs and comes up short. Rebound, David back up and in. Kurt David with 2. It's Gaylord by 2. Frazier lays it back for Scott Schrader. He brings it across for Engadine. Far side, popping out his Converse. He'll go baseline, all around. David underneath to Bronson, and he plays it in. Bronson with 2. We are even at 2 apiece. Engadine pressing in the backcourt. Here's Andrews with a forecourt pass to Jasinski, but he lost the pass. Gaylord St Mary's with their second turnover. It's Engadine ball in front court. Scott Schrader on the dribble, goes far side, and Smith comes over to foul him. Smith's first personal, third team foul. Engadine again inbounds in front court. Converse pops out near side. Looks back for Scott Schrader on the perimeter. He goes out front with it. Cuts to the near side with a screen from Frazier. Goes near side. Pulls up underneath. Tries to hit Frazier, but it's knocked away by Smith. Gaylord with the basketball. Jasinski on the dribble in front court, far side. Pulls up on the wing. Let's see if he shoots. He tries to go baseline, cut off. Back out front to Smith in the circle. Back to Jasinski along the baseline. 20-footer is missed. Rebound, David in the lane. Throws it back up. Missed. Tipped around. Comes out long. And it comes out to Smith on the near side. He pulls up on the wing. Hands in the corner to Kurt. He'll fire from 15 and hit it. Bill Kurt with 2. St. Mary's up 4-2. Scott Schrader dribbles across for Engadine on the far side. There's a screen, goes baseline around. Andrews hooks it up around and in. We're even at 4:30 to go, first period. Kurt in trouble in the backcourt, finds Smith. Lead pass for Andrews. He goes free throw line, comes in. Shot is blocked from behind by Converse. And the foul is called on Converse, his first personal. Second team foul. You may hear in the background that the Engadine fans in front of us do not appreciate that call. Joe Andrews goes to the line for Gaylord St. Mary's. He will be shooting two. First by Andrews is good. 4:23 left, first period. Gaylord St. Mary's leads Engadine 5-4. Joe Andrews with his second free throw coming. And he also connects on this one. So Andrews with two. Gaylord St. Mary's up by a hoop. St. Mary's with a sort of a press, rather passive one. Schrader around Smith. Underneath tries to hit Steve Schrader. Poked away, loose. Picked up by Jasinski. Lead pass for Kurt. Around Frazier, goes in for the layup. Kurt with four. It's Gaylord St. Mary's by four. Frazier in front court for Engadine. Near side, can't get around Kurt. Baseline finds Converse. Cut off by Jasinski. Back out front to Scott Schrader. He dribbles far side. Popping out Converse. Far wing. At the free throw line, Frazier from right there hits it. Two for Frazier. Gaylord St. Mary's by a couple, 8-6. Gaylord having some trouble, but now Smith across the timeline. Feeds Andrews in the middle, and he throws it in from 8 feet. Four for Andrews. Gaylord St. Mary's by four. Engadine across a 10-second stripe. Scott Schrader goes far side to Converse. Baseline to Frazier. Drives the baseline, and Kurt wheels the baseline. Throws it back out near side. Bronson from 12. Won't go. Rebound to Andrews. Looks for an outlet. Finds Smith across a 10-second stripe. Smith in the circle. Gets around Steve Schrader. Goes baseline far side. Back out to Jasinski. He'll put it up from 15, but walk before the shot. A Snowbird turnover, their third. We've got Engadine for two so far tonight. 3:11 to go, first period. Gaylord St. Mary's by 4, 10-6. It's Engadine ball in the backcourt. Forecourt inbound pass to Converse. He dribbles in on Kurt far side. Now looks back to Scott Schrader. He'll take it between the circles. Now go far side on Smith. Pull up. Bomb from 8 feet. Around and in. Hit hard off the back iron and fell through. Scott Schrader with 4. Engadine down by 2. Jasinski dribbling in the backcourt. Goes back. Stolen by Frazier, and he'll go in and lay it in. We are even at 10 apiece. Gaylord St. Mary's will all time. .2:45 to go in the first period. The score is Engadine 10, Gaylord St. Mary's 10. Our sponsors tonight include the BK&C Insurance Agency, your Aetna insurance agent in Sheboygan. Northwood Oil Company, your Shell distributor in Sheboygan. All Phase Lighting and Design Studio and All Phase Electric Supply on South Straits Highway in Sheboygan. LJ Ormsby Motors, your Chrysler, Dodge, Toyota dealer in Sheboygan and Gaylord. And Gamble's of Sheboygan, the friendly store in the middle of things in downtown Sheboygan. Both teams look kind of tight right now, although Gaylord St. Mary's is using their height advantage to their advantage thus far, as Engadine is not getting the second and third shots on the board. Gaylord seemingly has not worked it inside all that much. Their big man, David. Steve Schrader, the Engadine big man, has not seen the ball at all this evening, I don't believe. I don't think he's shot yet tonight. St. Mary's ball in front court. Smith out front, near side to Kurt. Cutting in the lane is Andrews. He'll put it up and miss it. Gets his own board. Back up. Overlays. Rebound to Frazier. Dribbles out himself. Engadine with the ball. Frazier in front court. Around Smith to the hoop. 12-footer on the way. Missed everything. Back up and in by Steve Schrader on the offensive board. That's got to be Engadine's first offensive rebound tonight. They're up by 2. Forecourt pass to Andrews. He goes to the hoop. Pulls up. 8-footer along the baseline is good. So Joe Andrews comes down for Gaylord St. Mary's, gets it right back, and we're even at 12. Scott Schrader on the dribble for Engadine. Around Smith in the front court. Far side will go baseline. Cut off nicely. Underneath, the ball's knocked away, picked off by David. Lead pass is still loose and picked up by Steve Schrader. A double turnover. Engadine has the ball back again. Scott Schrader sets up the Eagle offense. Near side of screen from Frazier. Doesn't use it. Lost it to Kurt. It's still loose. And Schrader retains possession and is fouled by Smith. Joe Smith hit with his second personal and fourth Gaylord St Mary's team foul. Smith will leave and Chuck Woodcock comes back in for Gaylord St Mary's. Engadine inbounding in front court. Frazier to Converse near side. Hands back to Scott Schrader between the circles. Forced way out on the perimeter. Frazier near side, about 30 feet out. Now he goes baseline, pulls up. David cuts him off nicely. Back to the circle. Schrader gets his man in the air. 15-footer. Missed. Rebound tipped around. Steve Schrader baseline jumper is no good. Missed everything. Kurt loses it out of bounds. Bill Kurt for Gaylord St Mary's had it beneath the basket and lost it out of bounds. Engadine will throw it in below the Snowbird basket with 1:29 in the period. Frazier along the baseline, back outside. Converse from 20 comes up short, tipped up and missed by Frazier. Back up and in by Bronson. Bronson with 4. Engadine up by 2. Kurt pressing the backboard, double team, and he steps on the sideline. Gaylord St Mary's now has been hit with 6 turnovers in this first period. Engadine has it in front court. Converse throws it into Scott Schrader. Top of the circle, back to Converse on the far wing. A screen from Steve Schrader, baseline, throws it in the lane to Steve Schrader. He goes in, lays it in, no basket. Let's see what the call is. No basket by Steve Schrader. Let's see what the official call. He calls a foul on Kurt. That would be Kurt's first personal and 5th team foul. That would put Engadine in the bonus with 1:08 to go in the first period. We have Steve Schrader at the line for Engadine shooting 1 and 1. His first attempt is short. Ball loose in the lane, back up and missed by Converse and David on the boards. Outlets to Kurt. Snowbirds are running. Kurt in front court slows it down and hands to Woodcock. St. Mary's down by 2, 56 seconds in the period. High post, turnaround jumper by David is good. Well, the big man uses a 15-foot jump shot to even this game at 14 with 48 seconds to go in the first quarter. Scott Schrader across the timeline, turns around in the lane, 14-footer is no good. David cuts it off the boards. Outlets to Woodcock. In front court, 3-on-2, bounce pass, Kurt goes in, blocked from behind by Converse, but a whistle. We have a foul. It is on Converse, his second personal, 3rd Engadine team foul. And now, Mark Anderson comes in for Engadine, replacing Jim Bronson. Anderson is usually a starting forward. He has been bothered with an ankle injury he suffered in the last 3 seconds of that district final with Eben. 2 shots for Kurt, and he misses the first. And now, here comes another substitute. Ed Maudry comes in for Engadine. And Jeff Converse leaves. So that front line now will be Steve Schrader, Maudry, and Anderson. Second by Kurt is good. He now has 5 points in a reserve role. Gaylord St Mary's leads by a point, 15-14. 30 seconds in the quarter. Far side, Maudry with it for Engadine. Goes foul line and hands to Scott Schrader between the circles. He comes near side, baseline to Frazier, cut off by Kurt. Goes through the lane, lost it, gets it back in the lane, and he's going to be in there too long. Engadine turnover. They now have 4, and Gaylord St. Mary's has the basketball and 18 seconds to shoot in the period. Woodcock on the dribble, gets it across easily. Goes near side, has a lane, goes baseline, lost it, gets it back to Kurt. 8-footer is missed, tipped around to Andrews, back up and in. Andrews with 8, with 3 seconds on the clock. Schrader very slowly comes across, launches one at the timeline and missed it, and that is the end of the first period. Our score here in St. Ignace is Gaylord St. Mary 17, Engadine 14. Coverage of tonight's Class D regional action in St. Ignace is made possible by Stan Stemke Farm Bureau Insurance, your life, home, car, farm insurance agent in Sheboygan. The First National Bank of St. Ignace with branch offices in Cedarville, Mackinac Island, and the West Mackinac branch at Nobbinway. The original Walker Furniture in St. Ignace, where quality comes first. And Blarney Castle Oil Company, your Texaco gas, fuel oil, and Texaco products distributor in Sheboygan County. Let us also not forget Sears Catalog Store in Sheboygan, clothing and furnishings for home and family. First period statistics, Engadine at the foul line was 0 of 1. They had 7 field goals and 4 turnovers. Gaylord St Mary's was 3 of 4 from the foul line. They also had 7 field goals, 6 turnovers. Woodcock and Smith of Gaylord St Mary's each with 2 personal fouls. That's the Snowbirds starting backcourt. Engadine's Jeff Converse, a forward, has 2 personals. To begin period number 2, it's Schrader and David on the center jump, both 6'8". The tip deep in the court to our right. Engadine with it in the backcourt. Scott Schrader back across the timeline. High above his head, hands near side to Maudry. Picked up by a new man, Don Kurt in the lineup for Gaylord St Mary's. Far side, Steve Schrader pops out, back to Scott. Far corner, Frazier on a drive, goes baseline, shovels it in the lane. Steve Schrader with it, throws it back up, missed it. Rebound comes out to Don Kurt. Lead pass for Woodcock, far side, goes in, hooks it up, comes up short. Here's a whistle. Contact made and an Engadine foul. This one will go against Ed Maudry, his first personal and 4th Eagle team foul. Chuck Woodcock coming down that far sideline was in the act of shooting. He has 2 shots. No, he doesn't. He wanted to, but they discussed that with the official score. Apparently, they're not going to give him the 2. He did throw it up. Inbound pass to David. 8-footer is banked too high. Rebound to Steve Schrader. Laid pass for Scott Schrader in front court. Comes out front with it. In the circle, hands to Frazier. He'll bring it back out. Being chased out there by a Woodcock. Looks around, hands back to Scott Schrader near this timeline. Between the circles, Frazier far side again. Baseline to Maudry. He's on a drive. Pulls up. Back to Frazier. Throws it through a crowd. Picked off by Steve Schrader near side. Back to Scott out front. Still on the dribble now. He calls a play. Into the circle, nobody moving. Near side, Maudry in the lane, cutting is Frazier. 4-footer is missed. Tipped around, comes out long to Woodcock. Snowbirds with it. Woodcock across the timeline. In the circle, pulls up. Underneath, finds David. 4-footer, good. Kurt David was 6. St. Mary's by 5. And Kurt David has not been as much of a problem for Engadine inside as he has outside. Cutting pass underneath for Maudry is knocked away, picked off by David. He outlets to Don Kurt in front court. Woodcock far side is open from 20 and he'll hit it. 2 for Woodcock and Engadine will stop it right here. Timeout Engadine with 6:27 to go in the first half. The score is Gaylord St. Mary's 21, Engadine 14. We'd like to salute some of our sponsors tonight. Dave's Lawn and Garden Center at 524 East State Street. Complete line of outdoor power equipment, wheel, horse, and Bowen's tractors. Rouge Jewelry of Petoskey, dependable since 1926. They have gifts and jewelry. Orange Blossom and Keepsake Diamonds. A complete line of name brand jewelry for the whole family. Sheboygan Home Appliance, selling and servicing the finest in appliances for over 17 years. Sheboygan Lumber Company, the family of 3, Mackinac Building Center, Moran Building Center, and the Sheboygan Lumber Company. And we'd also like to mention SUNY Bucks on Drummond Island and in Detour. Gaylord St. Mary's now has the biggest lead of the night, 7 points. We're going to say Kurt David, the 6'8 Gaylord center, has not hurt Engadine inside as much as he has outside with those little perimeter shooters, those short perimeter jump shots from 8 to 10 feet out. He's had 3 of them thus far tonight. Engadine is coming length of the floor. Scott Schrader on the dribble. Across the center line. Goes into the circle, sees the lane, shovels underneath to Converse, but he couldn't get the shot off. Excuse me, that's Bronson back in the ballgame now. Near side, Frazier loses it, gets it back. Still on the near side. Back out front to Scott Schrader. He calls the play. Engadine sets up, goes free throw line. Dishes off to Frazier. He misses the 12-footer. Rebound to Steve Schrader. Out of bounds off Schrader. It's Gaylord ball. Engadine out there now with both Schrader, Steve and Scott, Frazier, Converse, and Smith traveling with the basketball in the backcourt. Gaylord turnover. And Bronson. So the original starting 5 in for Engadine. And now the hand is for Rod Blanchard, who makes his first postseason appearance of the year for Engadine, replacing Jeff Converse. Blanchard's had a bad ankle. He's about the top guard in the eastern upper peninsula. Scott Schrader in front court, near side to Frazier. Converse wants it down. Now Bronson, he gets it down low. Posting David, turns around. His shot is blocked by David, and Kurt picks it off. Lead pass for Woodcock, trapped in the backcourt. Norris Stouts out with it. In the front court into the circle. Holds it back and calls the play for Gaylord. Far side, Kurt with it underneath to David. He wheels on Schrader, lays it up, missed it. Rebound, back up and in by Smith in the lane. Joe Smith with 2. It's Gaylord St. Mary's by 9. Engadine across the timeline. Here's Schrader bombing from 8 feet. Hits Scott Schrader with 6. St. Mary's by 7. Woodcock still deep in the backcourt. Forecourt pass picked off by Bronson. Back across the timeline. Engadine with it. Holds it back for Frazier. That's Snowbird's 8th turnover of the night. Schrader in the circle, sees a lane again, pumps one up. That one also falls. One thing you want is for your playmaking guard to penetrate. Scott Schrader is doing a great job of that tonight. Andrews dribbles across, lost it. Comes out to Kurt though. Underneath finds David. He lost it and walks with it. Gaylord now with 9 turnovers. Engadine pressing all over the place. That might hurt the Snowbirds. Schrader in front court. In the lane finds Steve Schrader. Turns around, puts it in. In the lane. A short jumper for Steve Schrader. And Engadine has got that Snowbird lead back to 3. Woodcock across the 10-second stripe. In the circle. Through traffic. Pulls up. He double dribbles with it. He lost control and took it back again. Gaylord St. Mary's has had 10 turnovers in this first half already. They are in danger of having their lead, which was once 9 points, cut to 1. Scott Schrader across the center line, goes in, pulls up 14-footer. He missed it. Rebound to Kurt. Outlets to Woodcock. Across the timeline, near side, pulls up, will not gun. At the free throw line, looks for help. Near side finds Andrews, wide open 8-footer, around and out. Rebound Steve Schrader. He was wide open, missed the easy jump shot. Frazier in front court. Engadine with the basketball. Comes back outside to Scott Schrader. Eagle set it up. Here's a pass stolen by Kurt. Kurt back to the basket, lays it up and in. 2 for Don Kurt. It's Gaylord back by 5. Scott Schrader on the dribble into the attack zone. Popping out near side is Frazier. He'll go baseline, put it up from 6 and miss it. Gets his own board in the lane. Lost it. He was fouled. Woodcock says, "What did I do?" The official says, "You got your 3rd personal." Smith will sit down for Gaylord St. Mary's, and Bill Kurt comes back. So now Engadine will have 2 Schraders on the floor. Gaylord St. Mary's will have 2 Kurts. Dwayne Jasinski back in for Gaylord St. Mary's. Woodcock will leave with 3 personals. Leroy Frazier is at the line for Engadine. He has a 1-and-1. Frazier with 4 points so far tonight. First by Frazier is good. 3:37 to go, first half. Gaylord St. Mary's leads at 25-21. Second for Frazier is coming. It's on the way, and he hits it. Falls through. Frazier with 6, Snowbirds by 3. They are being pressed. Andrews gets it across the timeline. Knocked away, picked off by Frazier. Here's a 2-on-1. Frazier the hoop, lays it up, missed it, but he was fouled. That will go against Jasinski, his first personal. Gaylord St. Mary's now has 11 turnovers tonight, and Frazier back at the foul line. Frazier has 2 shots now. And he'll hit the first. 3:29 left first half. Engadine trails Gaylord St. Mary's 25-23. Frazier can pull the Eagles to within 1 here. He does. Gaylord lead is 1 point. Here are some Gaylord substitutions. Smith and Woodcock back in. And the Kurt brothers leave. Don and Bill. Gaylord St. Mary's coming length of the floor with a 1-point lead. Woodcock behind his back, triple team, gets it across. Goes all the way in, dishes off to Andrews, and he'll lay it in. Andrews is the first man tonight in double figures. He has 10. Gaylord St. Mary's by 3. Scott Schrader across the 10-second stripe. Far side pulls up, will not bomb. Back outside to Converse, down low Frazier. Will not post Woodcock, turns around, 12-footer, good. 10 for Frazier. It's Gaylord by 1 again. Woodcock across the timeline, near side. It's fouled by Blanchard as he tightropes the sideline. Blanchard's first personal. Gaylord St. Mary's now goes into the bonus with 2:56 to go in the second period. Blanchard leaves, and coming back is Jeff Converse. Blanchard playing in his first ball game since the end of the regular season. He's been out for a couple of weeks with an ankle problem. 1-1 for Woodcock. First one is short, rebound to Bronson. Engadine in front court, down low, Steve Schrader. Six for Steve Schrader, Engadine by a point. They are still pressing, Smith gets it across. Goes into the circle, far side, finds Jasinski, down low to Andrews, he wheels, puts it up, banks it in. Andrews now with 12 for Gaylord St. Mary's, and the Snowbirds back up by a point. 2:30 to go in the first half. Scott Schrader, a screen from Converse, far side. Walks with the basketball. He slipped, fell, and moved that pivot foot. That's only Engadine's 6th turnover of the night unofficially. Gaylord St. Mary's has 11. Woodcock bounces the ball off his leg, retains possession, comes into front court. Near side finds Andrews. He goes to the free throw line, pulls up and shoots. And this one also falls. 14 for Andrews. It's Gaylord St. Mary's by 3. Scott Schrader in the front court for Engadine. Far side, a screen, shoots from 15, hits it. 10 for Scott Schrader. Gaylord St. Mary's by a point. Smith being double teamed in the backcourt, finds Woodcock. He'll get it across. Goes into the circle, sees a lane, pulls up at the free throw line, dishes off far side to Jasinski. He will not shoot. Back out front to Woodcock. He will shoot from 20 and miss it. Rebound Steve Schrader. Baseball pass to Scott Schrader in the front court. Far side, pulls up on the wing. Turns around, lost the ball, gets it back at the free throw line. Comes back out front with it. Near side, Frazier around Woodcock to the hoop. 12-footer banked too high. Rebound to Andrews. Lead pass for Jasinski. 2-on-3. Jasinski far side, pulls it back out. Throws it back to Smith, top of the circle. In the lane, right there is Andrews. Short banker is good. Andrews with 16. It's Gaylord St. Mary's again by through, and it's Joe Andrews hurting Engadine right now. They're 6'5" forward. Schrader to the sacral. Underneath tries to feed Bronson. It's loose, picked up by Bronson, and he is tied up by Andrews. Mark Anderson comes back for Engadine. Out is Converse. So it's going to be Bronson and Andrews jumping in the Gaylord St. Mary's circle. Andrews is 6'5", Bronson 6'3". Here's the tip, and it goes to Engadine. Frazier out front, comes near side with it, throws it back to Scott Schrader. Picked up by Smith. Gaylord St. Mary's in a man-to-man defense. Scott Schrader still with it between the circles. Near side again, Frazier. Baseline, Anderson pulls up underneath. Feeds Steve Schrader, poked away by David. Lead pass for Woodcock in front court. Near side goes baseline, falls down and walks with it. Double turnover, and Engadine is coming length of the floor with 45 seconds to go in the first half. They are down by 3. Scott Schrader slowly calling a play. Far side, Anderson pops out. Baseline to Frazier on Woodcock. Back out front, Scott Schrader, 34 in the period. Near side, Frazier to the lane at the free throw line. Looks for help. Near side finds Anderson, back to Frazier. 25 on the clock. Looks like Engadine will play for that last shot with all the action right now coming on the perimeter. Far side, Steve Schrader way out of the pivot, about 20 feet out. Looks for help, dribbles around out front himself now. In the lane, throws it away, picked off by David. Lead pass for Smith with 11 on the clock. Smith to the hook, to the lane, lays it up, around and in. No, comes out. Rebound out long to Anderson with 4 seconds. 3, 2, Anderson launches one at the buzzer, comes up short, and the horn goes to end the first half. With the score here in St. Ignace, Gaylord St. Mary's 33 and Engadine 30. Quarterfinal, and couldn't very easily have two of them at once. Center jump to begin the third period. It's Kurt David, 6'8", Steve Schrader, 6'7", 6'8". Out there with Engadine, with Schrader, is the other Schrader, Scott, Leroy Frazier, Jim Bronson, and Mark Anderson. Here's the tip, and it goes to Gaylord St. Mary's. Joe Smith with it, brings it across the timeline. He's out there with Woodcock, Jasinski, David, and Andrews. Starting 5 for Gaylord St. Mary's. Woodcock near side, goes to the lane, pumps it up, comes up short, rebound Anderson. And he lost it to Woodcock. He goes back to the hoop and travels with it. Engadine inbounding in the backcourt. Down by 3, just underway in the third period. Scott Schrader on the dribble. Across the 10-second stripe. Out front, near side to Anderson, who'll shoot off a screen and miss everything. Rebound by Frazier, and he puts it back in. 12
Frazier. It's now Gaylord St. Mary's by a point. Here's Woodcock across the timeline on the far side. Throws it back outside to Smith. Near side to Jasinski. He'll put it up from 15. He's got it. That's Jasinski's first points of the night. Gaylord St. Mary's again by 3. Scott Schrader across the center line. Near side Anderson. Back in the circle to Scott Schrader. Dribbling back in. Back to Anderson. Schrader again. They play catch. Far side. Frazier drives the baseline and is cut off. Back out front. Anderson at the free throw line will take it and hit it. 2 for Anderson. Engadine down by a point. Smith triple team in the backcourt. Throws it across to Woodcock. Far side. He'll leave it back for Smith. He calls the play. Far side, Woodcock will take it from 17. He banks it in. 4 for Woodcock. It's St. Mary's again and by 3. Scott Schrader across the 10-second stripe for Engadine. Far side to Frazier. He's cut off by Smith. Goes into the corner to Anderson. Back outside to Frazier. Tries to back into the free throw line. Leaves it back for Scott Schrader. Near side Anderson. Baseline jumper is missed. Rebound to Bronson. Back up. Missed everything. Tipped around and comes down to Jasinski. St. Mary's with it. And Jasinski in the backcourt will be fouled. That call goes against Anderson. His first personal. First Engadine team foul. Making his first appearance of the evening is Duncan MacArthur for Engadine. Jim Bronson gets out of there. Snowbirds on offense. Woodcock calling a play out front. In the circle. Can't feed it inside. Finds Smith near side. Back out front to Woodcock. They'll take it 22-footer. Short. Tipped up and missed by Andrews. It's loose out of bounds. Off Andrews. Engadine ball. Eagles coming late to the floor. 5:56 to go in the third period. Engadine trailing Gaylord St. Mary's 37-34. In front court, Scott Schrader handles. Near side to Anderson on the wing. Back to Schrader. At the free throw line, he'll take it, gun it, and miss. Rebound to David. Outlet, lost it. It's loose on the floor. And a traveling violation called on Kurt David as he falls to the floor with it. St. Mary's with their 14th turnover of the night. Engadine inbounding in the front court. Anderson on the perimeter to Scott Schrader. Steve Schrader underneath. Through MacArthur's hands, out of bounds. Engadine now with 9 turnovers. Engadine pressing in the backcourt, but Woodcock will bring it across easily. Through traffic in the circle. Shovels one up. Missed it. And a foul is called. Few people going down in that lane, and the foul is going to be on Jasinski. His second personal. First Gaylord St. Mary's team foul. He was reaching over Steve Schrader's head for that rebound. Engadine in front court. Scott Schrader, far side to Frazier. Drives on Smith. Throws it back to Schrader at the free throw line. Back outside to Frazier. Far side in the corner to Anderson. Lost underneath to MacArthur. Turnaround jumper is short. Rebound to Woodcock. St. Mary's is running. 3-on-2. Woodcock in the lane. Fires and misses. Rebound. Back up and in by Andrews. Joe Andrews with 18 at St. Mary's by 5. Engadine calls timeout. That's the Eagles' second timeout of the ballgame. 5:03 to go, third period. The score is Gaylord St. Mary's 39, Engadine 34. Our sponsors tonight include Fountain Oil Company, distributor of Amoco products in Detour, Drummond Island, Gatesville, Rayburn, and Stalwart. Marshall Bailey's mobile service on Drummond Island. Ralph Ware at State Farm Insurance of St Ignace. BK&C Insurance Agency, your Aetna insurance agent in Sheboygan. And Northwood Oil Company, your Shell distributor in Sheboygan. Once again, Gaylord St. Mary's doing a nice job on the boards. And they found some outside shooting, which Engadine really has not had tonight. Gaylord St. Mary's was up by 3 at the half. They're now up by 5. Engadine has led at times during this ball game, but never by more than 1 point. Engadine with the Schraders, Scott and Steve, Anderson, Frazier, and MacArthur. Gaylord St. Mary's, Smith and Woodcock in the backcourt, David in the middle, Jasinski and Andrews up front. It's Engadine's basketball. Scott Schrader between the circles. Dribbles through a crowd, near side to Anderson. Back outside, Scott Schrader will not pump. Gives off to Anderson in the corner. They're going to dare him to take it from 15. He does, and he hits it. 4 for Mark Anderson. Gaylord St. Mary's by 3. Smith across the timeline to Andrews at the free throw line. Underneath to Kurt David. He goes in, lays it in, and he is fouled. The basket is good. The foul is on Anderson. His second. Kurt David now with 8 points will go to the line to our left attempting a three-point play. That's Engadine's second team foul. Kurt David has 8 points tonight. This is his first free throw attempt. He misses it. Rebound to Steve Schrader. Outlets to Anderson. Scott Schrader across the timeline. In the circle. He'll gun from right there. He missed it. Rebound to Jasinski. Looks for a lead. Dribbles out himself in the front court. Far side goes to Smith. He goes in. Throws it up. Hits it. 4 for Joe Smith. Gaylord St. Mary's working a nice 2-on-3 that time. It's Engadine down by 7. In the circle, Scott Schrader. Near side, Anderson going baseline, winning the baseline. Gives off to MacArthur. Short jumper is banked in. Duncan MacArthur with 2 for Engadine. That cuts the Gaylord lead to 5. Woodcock into the attack zone. Into the circle. Underneath. Lost it out of bounds. Trying to hit Andrews. He lost it along the baseline. Gaylord St. Mary's 15th turnover of the night. Duncan MacArthur leaves the Engadine lineup, and back in is Jim Bronson. Eagles are coming length of the floor with 3:56 to go in the third period. They are down by 5. On the far side of the key, it's Frazier with it. Goes in the lane to Bronson. A big hook. Misses everything, but Steve Schrader rebounds and lays it up short. Rebound to Bronson. Lost it to Don Kurt. Gaylord in front court. Woodcock between the circles calls a play. Near side, Don Kurt. Pulls up, 18-footer. He got it. 4 for Don Kurt. It's St. Mary's again by 7. Between the circles. Here's Schrader on a drive. Pulls up, 12-footer. Misses everything. Rebound to Andrews. Outlet to Smith. He lost it. Gets it back along the sideline. Still in the backcourt. Gaylord St. Mary's now immediately calls a timeout. Mike Watucky stopping things at the 3:18 mark of the third period with the score. Gaylord St. Mary's 45 and Engadine 38. Let's salute some of our sponsors tonight. All Phase Lighting and Design Studio and All Phase Electric Supply on South Straits Highway in Sheboygan. LJ Ormsby Motors, your Chrysler Dodge Toyota dealer in Sheboygan and Gaylord. Campbell's of Sheboygan, the friendly store in the middle of things in downtown Sheboygan. Stan Stemke Farm Bureau Insurance, your life, home, car, farm insurance agents. And First National Bank of St Ignace, with branch offices in Cedarville, Mackinac Island, and the West Mackinac branch in Nobbinway. Gaylord St. Mary's owns a 7-point bulge right now with 3:18 to go in the third period. Winner of this game will play either Detour or Harbor Springs Friday night for the regional championship. St. Mary's owns the basketball. They are inbounding in the backcourt. Engadine will again put on some pressure. Woodcock has the ball, brings it across to Smith. Engadine on a man-to-man defense. Near side, Jasinski will gun from 17. Yes. 4 for Jasinski. It's Gaylord St. Mary's by 9. Scott Schroeder across a 10-second strike. Near side, Anderson. Down low, finds Steve Schrader. Turnaround jumper, good. 8 for Steve Schrader. Engadine down by 7. Woodcock beats Frazier in the front court. Here the timeline stops, goes in the circle. Underneath, tries to feed David. He lays it up, missed it. Ball comes out to Engadine. Eagles are running. Anderson in front court. Pulls up on the perimeter and gives to Scott Schrader. Between the circles, he looks in. Near side, Anderson. Goes baseline. In the lane to Steve Schrader. Lost it, but gets it back to Bronson. He lays it up, but walks with the basketball going to the hoop. Engadine's 11th turnover of the night. They are down by 7. Under the 2.5-minute mark in the third period. Smith gives off to Woodcock. He'll get it across the line. Around Frazier to the lane. Throws it up. And will it fall? No. Rebound to Steve Schrader. Nice move to the hoop. Long baseball pass down the floor to Frazier. Benil low the basket. He goes in. Misses the layup. Ball is loose. Picked off by Jasinski. He leaves it back for Smith. Gaylord St. Mary's being double teamed in the backcourt. Now Jasinski gets to the cross on the near side. Goes free throw line. Pulls up. He shot his block from behind by Bronson. Gets it back. Throws it up and missed it. Tipped out long to Anderson. Lost it to Andrews. Turnaround jumper is missed. Gets his own rebound out long. Comes way out long. Anderson with it. Running to Frazier near side. In the lane to Anderson. Throws it up. Banks it. Missed it. Rebound Steve Schrader. Back up and in. Not what you would call fundamental basketball, but Engadine gets a point out of it. Lead pass Anderson in front court. Andrews, turnaround jumper. Good. Joe Andrews, first man tonight with 20 points. Gaylord St. Mary's by 7. Far side, Frazier handles it. Gives off near side to Anderson. He cannot go baseline. Cut off. Out top, Scott Schrader. Anderson near side. In the lane, Steve Schrader. Turnaround jumper. Missed it. Gets his own board, but is tied up by Andrews. They both go to the floor heavily. Neither are hurt. Don Kurt comes in for Gaylord St. Mary's and Jasinski to the bench. Dwayne Jasinski's had a couple of long jumpers for Gaylord St. Mary's in this third period that's helped them. And the Snowbirds will call time again. When we come back, we will have a jump in the Gaylord St. Mary's circle. But right now the clock is stopped with 1:15 to go in the third period, and the score is Gaylord St. Mary's 49 and Engadine 42. Our regional sponsors tonight include the original Walker Furniture in St. Ignace, where quality comes first. Blarney Castle Oil Company, your Texaco gas, fuel oil, and Texaco products distributor in Sheboygan County. Sears Catalog Store in Sheboygan, clothing and furnishings for home and family. Dave's Lawn and Garden Center at 524 East State Street. They have a complete line of outdoor power equipment, wheel horse, and Boland's tractors. Got a big sale going on, too, this week, as far as I know. And Roost Jewelry of Petoskey. They've been dependable since 1926. They have gifts and jewelry, orange blossom and keepsake diamonds, a complete line of name-brand jewelry for the whole family. Well, Gaylord St. Mary's has discussed things. We are jumping in the St. Mary's circle. Andrews is 6'4". Steve Schrader is 6'8". 4 inches to Engadine. The ball is up. The tip goes to Gaylord St. Mary's. Smith to Kurt. He goes in too far below the basket and walks with the ball. St. Mary's unofficially now has 16 turnovers. Engadine owns the basketball in front court. Scott Schrader in the circle. Looks, being harassed, and throws the ball out of bounds. Trying to hit Anderson, cutting. Threw the ball right to the Gaylord St. Mary's bench. 5th turnover in this period for Engadine. St. Mary's again owns the basketball. Woodcock slowly across the center stripe with 60 seconds to go in the third quarter. Don Kurt near side, pulls up on the wing, looks inside, finds Andrews, turnaround jumper in the lane, will not fall. Rebound Steve Schrader, lead pass Scott Schrader, 2-on-1. Frazier to the hoop, goes all the way, lays it up, missed it. Rebound to Kurt. Gaylord St. Mary's back the other way. Woodcock on the dribble, across the timeline. Looks to feed Kurt out front, cannot, knocked away. Now goes far side on Frazier, underneath, lays it up, around and out. Rebound in the lane to Anderson. Engadine running 3-on-1. Anderson into the lane, pulls up, shovels off to Frazier, puts it up and in, but no basket. A foul is called. Let's see what this is. The foul goes against Joe Smith. His 3rd personal. 2nd Gaylord St. Mary's team foul. The Snowbirds will inbound in front court. 29 seconds to go in the third period. Engadine is down by 7. Scott Schrader between the circles. Far side, Frazier pops out. Goes baseline on Smith. Wheels the baseline. He's cut off. Looks back out front to Scott Schrader. Dribbling in the corner to Anderson. Schrader turns, knocked away, picked off by Kurt. 2-on-1 for Gaylord. Bounce pass to Woodcock. Goes in, back to Kurt. He'll lay it up. Scott Schrader and Woodcock both went to the floor hard. Nothing was called. And some fans along the baseline up on the stage had some words to say, and now the official is telling them to go sit elsewhere. Kurt and Steve Schrader tying one another up. They'll jump in the Engadine circle. 6 inches to Engadine. 7 seconds on the clock. Ball out long, tipped off by Anderson, and he knocks the ball off his own man's leg. Scott Schrader and Anderson both were there. Knocked off Schrader with 6 seconds to go in the third period. Woodcock in front court, Gaylord with the last shot. Woodcock between the circles with 3, 2, gives back to David, but he can't put it up at the buzzer. After 3 periods here at the LaSalle High School Gym in St. Ignace, the score is Gaylord St. Mary's 49 and Engadine 42. Here's some of our sports booster tonight. Sheboygan Home Appliance, selling and servicing the finest in appliances for over 17 years. Sheboygan Lumber Company, the family of three. Mackinac Building Center, Moran Building Center, and Sheboygan Lumber Company. SUNY Bucks on Drummond Island and in Detour. The Detour Drummond Island Community Credit Union and the Detour Village Inn. Engadine had no free throws in that third period, so they remained 4 of 5 from the line. They now have 12 turnovers. Gaylord St Mary's was 0 of 1 on free throws in the third period. They are now 3 of 6. They now have 16 turnovers. One of these ball clubs has 8 minutes of basketball left in this season, barring overtime. Engadine has to make up 7 points to tie. It's David and Steve Schrader on the center jump. Both are 6'8". Here's the tip. It goes to Gaylord St Mary's. Woodcock near side pulls up. 22-footer is missed. Rebound comes out long at the free throw line. Andrews, turnaround jumper. It falls. Andrews from behind his head. It's his 22nd point. It's Gaylord St Mary's by 9. Engadine in front court. They've got to make up points in a hurry. Here's a pass knocked away by David, picked off by Smith. Snowbirds with a steal. Smith across the timeline between the circles, near side the curtain. He'll pull up, 18-footer on the way. He missed that one. Tipped around, comes up to the free throw line, picked up by Engadine. Schrader left at the timeline. Now throws it back to Blanchard. He gets it across. Far side to Frazier. He pulls up, 12-footer is banked and missed. Rebound to Andrews with positioning on Steve Schrader. Smith in front court between the circles. Sees a lane, goes in, shovels it up, missed it. Rebound in the lane. Andrews turns to put this one in. This guy hits more off balance than a Wallenza. Gaylord St Mary's by 11. Engadine calls time. You can hear the Gaylord St Mary's crowd on the far end of the floor. The clock is stopped with 7:05 to go. It's Gaylord St Mary's 53, Engadine 42. Tomorrow night we'll be right back here in St Ignace for the game between Detour and Harbor Springs. And the winner of that ball game will meet the winner of this ball game for the regional championship Friday night. It's about 8:30 in northern Michigan. We want to remind you, you're listening to WCBY AM and FM Sheboygan. Our producer tonight is Rob Chiarella. My name is Gene DeLisio. We have 7:05 to go in this ball game. Our score is Gaylord St Mary's 53, Engadine 42. Coming to you from the LaSalle High School gym in St Ignace. This is semifinal action in the St Ignace D Regional Basketball Tournament. Gaylord St Mary's now with Don Kurt, Woodcock, Smith, David, and Andrews. For Engadine, it's Frazier, Scott and Steve Schrader, Blanchard and Anderson. They have the basketball, Engadine does, but they have to make up 11 points in a hurry. Frazier far side on Smith, gets a screen baseline. Pulls back outside, Scott Schrader back to Frazier, and he hits the 14-footer. Frazier with 14, high Eagles score tonight. They're down by 9. Engadine is pressing. Woodcock in the backcourt. Trapped, looks for help. Forecourt pass to Smith. Brings it down. Far side, Andrews. Underneath to David. Goes to the hoop and lays it in, but he blocked. Going to the basket. A St. Mary's turnover unofficially. There's 17. Engadine up the floor. They can cut it now to 7. Scott Schrader between the circles. Has a big lane. Pulls up in the lane. Shovels off to Anderson, and he hits the baseline jumper. 6 for Anderson. Engadine is going to back to 7. Woodcock double teamed in the backcourt. Shovels it to Kurt. Lead pass for Andrews, and he's hit and fouled by Steve Schrader. That is the big man's first personal. 3rd Engadine team foul. Gaylord St Mary's is inbounding in front court. Woodcock with it on the near side. Pulls up. Let's see if he guns. He doesn't. Gives off near side to Kurt. He'll take it from 15. He missed it. Ball out long to Anderson in the lane. Turnaround jumper. And that one around and out. Tipped around out of it. The Engadine ball up. For Gaylord St Mary's, Dwayne Jasinski back in. He'll take over in the front court. And leaving is Don Curtis on a fine job in a reserve role this evening. Engadine up the floor, needing 7 to tie. We approach the 6-minute mark in this ball game. Near side, Blanchard with it, drives on Jasinski, baseline cut off, underneath, lost it to Steve Schrader. He misses the layup, back up by Schrader, and in. Steve Schrader gets his own rebound. That Gaylord St Mary's lead now is 5. They're still being pressed. Lead pass in the front court for Andrews. Underneath, there's David with it in the lane, throws it up,
7. Scott Schrader across the 10-second stripe. Near side to Blanchard. Comes in on Jasinski. Throws it back to Schrader, but he walked with the basketball. Blanchard lost his footing, lost his balance, and was hit with a traveling violation. Engadine now has 14 turnovers this evening. The Eagles again are pressing the Snowbirds, but here's a lead pass for Woodcock. He breaks it easily, far side, goes in on Blanchard. An 8-footer is partially blocked. Andrews rebounds, back up, missed it. Jasinski with it. Here's a whistle in the lane, no basket. It is a Gaylord St Mary's foul. It appears to be on Jasinski, a pushing foul. Yes, it is. Jasinski hit with his third personal, third St. Mary's team foul. Jeff Converse back in for Engadine. Eagles have it in front court. Near side, Converse handles, goes baseline, wheels the baseline, and he is fouled. No, he was tied up. Well, let's see. We have two different calls here. Let's see who takes precedent. The foul call will take precedent. It's a foul on Joe Andrews of Gaylord St. Mary's, his first, fourth team foul. The official on the perimeter called the foul. The official below the hoop called a jump ball, but the foul takes precedent.
We have Converse at the line to our right for 2 sets. His first is no good.
He has not scored yet this evening. 5:20 to go in the ball game. Gaylord St. Mary's leading Engadine 55-48. One more for Converse. This one he hits, so he's on the board with a point. Engadine trailing by 6. Eagles are pressing again at half court. Smith gets it across. Shovels it underneath to David. He'll go in. Had the ball knocked away by Anderson. Leave it back for Steve Schrader. Lead pass for Frazier. Starts to dribble up, gets it across the timeline. Has the ball knocked away. Woodcock with it. Woodcock to the hoop, 2-on-2. Throws it up, missed it. But let's see what the foul call is. It is against Woodcock. Offensive foul. A charging call on Woodcock. St. Mary's fans up off their side of the floor. They're upset. And a timeout now is called by Engadine, the Eagles' fourth. 4:58 remains in this ball game. Our score is Gaylord St. Mary's 55, Engadine 49. Our sponsors tonight include Central Savings Bank of the Sioux and their branch Bank and Detour, Nate's Marina on Drummond Island, H&H General Store on Drummond Island, Fountain Oil Company, distributor of Emeco products in Detour, Drummond Island, Gatesville, Rayburn, and Stalwart, and Marshall Bailey's Mobile Service on Drummond Island. Momentum may seem to be with Engadine at this point. They are down by 6, but we have just under 5 minutes remaining, so plenty of time remains in this ball game. The Eagles have the basketball. They are coming length of the floor. Scott Schrader on the dribble across the 10-second stripe. Near side to Converse. He'll go baseline. Throw it back out to Schrader, to Frazier. In the lane cutting. Steve Schrader. Turnaround jumper. Good. 12 for Steve Schrader. Engadine is cut it to 4. They're being pressed. Woodcock, 4 pass to Smith. Has a big lane. Takes it. Lost it going through. Comes out long. Anderson tries to save it. Right to Scott Schrader. He leads a break. Scott Schrader to the hook. Goes in. Lays it up. Around and out. Steve Schrader back up. And it falls through. 14 for Steve Schrader. Engadine has cut the Gaylord lead to 2. Snowbirds being pressed. There's a long lead pass for Jasinski. He brings it down in front court, far side. Back out top to Woodcock. Woodcock is playing with 4 personals. 3 of them offensive. Near side Smith. Baseline. Shovels it back to Andrews. Turnaround jumper. That one goes through. Andrews with 26. And most of them in these fall-away jump shots that are just amazing. St. Mary's again by 4. Near baseline, Converse throws it back out to Scott Schrader. Converse gets it back again. Baseline. No shot. Schrader to Frazier in the circle. Schrader near side, a screen from Steve Schrader. Back out front to Frazier. He's on a drive. Throws it back to Anderson. 20-footer. Good. 8 for Anderson. Engadine again cuts it to 2. Smith, forecourt pass to Woodcock. Knocked away. Woodcock gets it back. Far side on the perimeter. Still drumming around out there. Goes in. Underneath, shovels it to Andrews. He goes in and lays it in. 28 for Joe Andrews. Gaylord St. Mary's again by 4. Engadine back to the court to our right. Frazier goes baseline to Anderson. He's open for the jump shot. He missed that one. Rebound. Steve Schrader hooks it back up and hits it. 16 for Steve Schrader. Gaylord St. Mary's by 2. Smith across the timeline to Jasinski. Lost it to Converse. Late pass for Schrader, and he lost it. Gets it back, throws it up. Partially blocked by Woodcock. It's out of bounds. Off Woodcock. Engadine will throw it in below the Gaylord St. Mary's basket, trailing by 2. Frazier will trigger. Along the baseline, Converse open from 12. He takes it and hits it. And we are tied at 59. Gaylord St. Mary's calls time. School that's never even won a district title before this year, the Engadine fans are pretty happy. 2:50 to go in the 4th period. The score is Gaylord St. Mary's 59, Engadine 59. We just finished saying momentum seemed to be with the Eagles. And we might about be right. Gaylord St. Mary's out quickly. David, Andrews, Jasinski, Woodcock, and Smith, their starting 5. Eagles still are not yet out. Now here comes Engadine to another large ovation with Steve and Scott Schrader, Anderson, Converse, and Frazier. Gaylord St. Mary's is coming length of the floor. We are even at 59, 2:50 to go. Here comes Woodcock across the timeline, goes out front with it, hands to Smith. Joe Smith calls a play for Gaylord St. Mary's. Engadine sets up in their man-to-man. Woodcock bombs from the perimeter, missed it, tipped way out long to Smith in the circle, goes in the lane, 12-footer, pushed up and missed, rebound Steve Schrader. Outlets to Scott Schrader. Engadine back up the floor. They can go ahead for the first time in the second half of the bucket here. Converse going baseline, wheels the baseline, shovels back outside Anderson, 12-footer, around and out, rebound Woodcock. St. Mary's up the floor. Woodcock on the dribble between the circles, stops. Calls a play, far side, Smith handles, baseline on Frazier, underneath, wheels it inside to Jasinski, lost it out of bounds. It is off Steve Schrader. Gaylord St. Mary's still has possession. Jasinski will throw it in below the Engadine basket. Jasinski to David in the lane, 12-footer is good. The big man hits the short jumper, 12 points for Kurt David. Gaylord St. Mary's by 2 with 2 minutes to go. Scott Schrader between the circles. Near side, Converse going baseline, cut off by Jasinski. Back out front to Frazier. He's on a drive around Smith, going baseline, cut off nicely. There's a back outside to Scott Schrader. Converse in the circle. Drives on Jasinski. Drives baseline. Reverse lay is lost. Comes out long to Frazier. He picks it off and hands back to Scott Schrader. 1:37 to go. Frazier far side. Drives on Smith, pulls up in the corner, hands to Anderson. He drives, lost the ball, picked up by Woodcock. He lost it to Converse. In the lane, tries to hit Steve Schrader, and he lost it to Jasinski. And then he lost it to Anderson. The ball is loose, and a line violation on Engadine. Anderson was on the sideline as he handled the basketball. Well, everybody turning the ball over that time. Gaylord St. Mary's has it in front court with 1:18 to go. Woodcock in the circle, throws one up, missed it, ball knocked out of bounds. It is off Anderson. Snowbirds inbound below the Engadine basket. Engadine will call timeout, however, before we do anything, and by that, our count, that is 5 timeouts tonight charged to Engadine. They have used their allotment by our count. We have Gaylord St. Mary's still with 1 more remaining. 1:14 to go in the ball game. The score is Gaylord St. Mary's 61, Engadine 59. Some of our sponsors tonight: Ralph Ware, a State Farm insurance agent of St Ignace; Northwood Oil Company, your Shell distributor in Sheboygan; All Phase Lighting and Design Studio and All Phase Electric Supply on South Straits Highway in Sheboygan; L.J. Ormsby Motors, your Chrysler Dodge Toyota dealer in Sheboygan and Gaylord; and BK&C Insurance Agency, your Aetna insurance agent in Sheboygan. People begin to rattle these bleachers. It looks like the entire broadcast booth is going to fall over here. 1:14 remaining. Engadine trails by 2. Gaylord St. Mary's has the ball below the Engadine basket. Jasinski to throw it in. He has the basketball now. Looks underneath. Right there is Andrews for the layup. 30 for Joe Andrews. Engadine down by 4. 1:08 to go. Scott Schrader in front court has a big lane, takes it, dishes off to Anderson, but there's a traveling call on Scott Schrader bringing the ball down the floor. 17 turnovers tonight now on Engadine. Woodcock across the timeline for Gaylord St. Mary's. In the circle, pulls up, throws it back to Smith. 57 on the clock. Smith in the circle, has a lane, takes it, throws it up. He walked with it. We have Gaylord St. Mary's with 22 turnovers. Engadine has the basketball in backcourt, 54 seconds remaining. Scott Schrader across the 10-second stripe. A screen from Converse goes in the corner to Steve Schrader. Back to Scott, out front to Frazier. He's on a drive, pulls up, 12-footer is forced up. Missed, but here's some contact and a whistle. And a foul on Joe Smith of Gaylord St. Mary's, his 4th. We now have Engadine in the bonus at 45 seconds to go in the 4th period. Gaylord St. Mary still is not in the bonus. We've only had 3 team fouls committed tonight by Engadine. First of 2 for Frazier. He's got it. 15 for Leroy Frazier. Engadine down by 3 with 45 seconds to go in regulation. Second coming from Leroy Frazier. It's on the way. He missed it. Rebound to Steve Schrader. Lost it. Picked up by Converse in the lane. Throws it up. Comes up short. Rebound to David. Covers up and hands to Woodcock. Here's a contact in the backcourt, and a foul is called on Anderson. An Engadine foul. Anderson's 3rd personal. 4th Engadine team foul. Gaylord St. Mary's inbounds in the backcourt with 38 seconds remaining in regulation. Woodcock will take it out. Engadine with a lot of pressure. Woodcock looks, throws it back to Andrews. He hands it back to Woodcock. He starts out. There's a collision and a foul on Scott Schrader. His 2nd. With 33 seconds to go in the 4th period, Gaylord St. Mary's now goes into the bonus. We'll have Chuck Woodcock at the line to our left with a 1-and-1. Woodcock has 4 points tonight. He misses the first. Steve Schrader loses the rebound. Taken up by Andrews. He hooks it in, but he walked with the ball. No basket. No basket by Gaylord St. Mary's. A walking call on Andrews. Engadine back up the floor with 29 seconds remaining. Scott Schrader across the line. Has a big lane. Takes it in the lane. Dishes off to Anderson. 12-footer. Missed it. Steve Schrader rebounds. Back up. Blocked by David. David picks it off, and he is bear-hugged and thrown to the floor by Anderson. I would say that was quite an intentional foul by Anderson. His 4th personal. And that will be a 2-shot foul. An intentional foul by Anderson, 2 shots for Jasinski. Jasinski has 4 points tonight. He has attempted no free throws. As David had the rebound, dished off to Jasinski, and Andrews really got him. Gaylord St. Mary's by 3, now by 4. That might about put it away for Gaylord St. Mary's. They're up by 4 with 18 seconds remaining, and the Snowbirds call timeout. 18 seconds to go in this ball game. The score is Gaylord St. Mary's 64, Engadine 60. Some of the people bringing you this exciting game tonight include Gamble's of Sheboygan, the friendly store in the middle of things in downtown Sheboygan. Stan Stemke Farm Bureau Insurance, your life, home, car, and farm insurance agent. First National Bank of St. Ignace, they have branch offices in Cedarville, Mackinac Island, and they also have their West Mackinac branch in Nobbinway. The original Walker Furniture in St. Ignace, where quality comes first. And Blarney Castle Oil Company, your Texaco gas, fuel oil, and Texaco products distributor in Sheboygan County. Jasinski will go back to the line for Gaylord St. Mary's, shooting his 2nd free throw. Engadine now trails by 4 with 18 seconds to go. The Eagles look like they're in trouble. We notice that Charlie Page of Harbor Springs is here scouting tonight. We don't see Dave Miller of Detour. I assume he's here. We do have a big crowd this evening. Jasinski's second free throw is coming. Here it is. He missed it. Rebound, Andrews in the lane. Back up. Hooked it in. 32 for Andrews. Engadine down by 6 with 12 seconds to go. Scott Schrader, 12-footer is good. That's 12 for Scott Schrader. They're pressing with 5 on the clock. 3. Smith covers up on the backcourt. With 1 second to go, we have a whistle and a jump ball. A 5-second violation apparently on Smith. So with 1 second, we'll jump it up in the Gaylord St Mary circle. Smith and Anderson. Smith just covered up deep in the backcourt. 1 second remaining. Gaylord St Mary's by 4. Here's the tip. Goes to Scott Schrader. He throws it up at the buzzer. Misses it. And that is the ball game. Gaylord St Mary's will advance to the finals of the St Ignace Class D Regional. Our final score here tonight in St Ignace is Gaylord St Mary's 66 and Engadine 62. Well, this exciting game was brought to you in part tonight by the Sears Catalog Store in Sheboygan. They have clothing and furnishings for home and family. Dave's Lawn and Garden Center at 524 East State Street. They have a complete line of outdoor power equipment and also wheel horse and Boland's tractors. Roosh Jewelry of Petoskey, dependable since 1926. They have Gibson Jewelry, Orange Blossom and Keepsake Diamonds, a complete line of name brand jewelry for the whole family. Sheboygan Home Appliance, selling and servicing the finest in appliances for over 17 years. And Sheboygan Lumber Company, the family of 3, Mackinac Building Center, Moran Building Center, and the Sheboygan Lumber Company. We will have our post-game show brought to you by the Sheboygan Kentucky Fried Chicken coming up just a few moments from now. Gaylord St Mary's now advances to the finals of the St Ignace Class D Regional. They will meet the winner of tomorrow night's Detour Harbor Springs game, which we will also broadcast here on WCBY AM and FM. Hope you can join us for that ball game. Our thanks to Rob Torella, our producer back at the studios this evening. My name is Gene DeLisio. Good night from St Ignace. Our final score again, Gaylord St Mary's 66, Engadine 62. One, two, three, four. We're now back at the LaSalle High School gym in St. Ignace, and let's take a look at our statistics for tonight's ball game. First of all, for the winning Gaylord St. Mary Snowbirds, highest score tonight was Joe Andrews. He did a job inside and outside. This guy is going to be some kind of ball player by the time his high school career is over, and right now he is only a sophomore, 6'5".
and you think he's a good basketball player, you ought to see him play defensive end like we had the chance to earlier in the year. Andrews, 32 points tonight on 15 field goals, 2 of 2 from the line. Kurt David, the 6'8 sophomore, with 12 points on 6 field goals. Dwayne Jasinski, 5 points on 2 field goals, 1 of 2 from the line. Bill Kurt, 5 points on 2 field goals, 1 of 2 from the line. Chuck Woodcock, 4 points on 2 field goals. He was 0 of 3 at the foul line tonight. Joe Smith, 4 points on 2 field goals. Don Kurt, 4 points on 2 field goals. Nobody else played this evening for Gaylord St. Mary's. The Snowbirds were 4 of 10 from the foul line tonight. They had 31 field goals and unofficially 23 turnovers. For Engadine, high scorer Steve Schrader with 16 points on 8 field goals, 0 of 1 from the foul line. Leroy Frazier had 15 points on 5 field goals. He was 5 of 6 from the line. Scott Schrader, 12 points on 6 field goals. Jim Bronson, 4 points on 2 field goals. Jeff Converse, 3 points on a field goal, 1 of 2 at the line. Duncan MacArthur, 2 points on a field goal. Ed Maudry did not score. Engadine was 6 of 9 from the foul line. They had 26 field goals, and they were hit unofficially with 17 turnovers. At the end of the first period, Gaylord St. Mary's led 17-14. Both teams scored 16 points in the second period, so St. Mary's had a 33-30 lead at halftime. St. Mary's outscored Engadine by 4 in the third period, 16-12, to take a 49-42 third quarter lead. And Engadine won the scoring honors in the fourth period, 20-17, but they came up 4 points short, losing tonight to Gaylord St. Mary's 66-62. Gaylord St. Mary's now advances to the finals of the St. Ignace Class D Regional, which will be played here in St. Ignace. Good place to play the St. Ignace Class D Regional, I suppose, in St. Ignace. That is Friday night at 7:30. We'll have that ball game here on CBY AM and FM. They will play the winner of tomorrow night's Detour Harbor Springs game. That also will be heard tomorrow evening at 7:30 on WCBY AM and FM. So that's about it. Gaylord St. Mary's winning tonight 66-62. Our thanks to Rob Torella back at our studios for his fine performance tonight as our producer. My name is Gene DeLisio. Good night from St. Ignace. That final score again, Gaylord St. Mary's 66, Engadine 62.